Hey, thanks for stopping by. Health and happiness to you. I'm Skol, and today we're going to talk about the 2025 Ozark Trail offerings. You all might remember last year in 2024 when the Ozark Grail came out. It was called the Ozark Grail. Everyone got excited because it was an improvement in materials. You went up to D2 and it was still $9. That got everybody excited that you got such a better step up in quality, but it was still such a budget price. And then this fall in 2025, they had an extension of the Grail line. They had some new cool colors, some new offerings, and good steels. This one has a 14C28N blade, which is even more of an upgrade than D2. And you were still getting in the $9, $9, $9, $19 for upgrade steel, all aluminum, good construction. And then they went with the button lock and G10. This one was $25. But then, closer to Christmas, they had even more Ozark Trails come out. And I've seen some videos. Everyone's kind of excited, like more Ozark Trails in more interesting colors. But these new ones are not in the same category as the Grail and the Grail extension line. These are a step back to what Ozark Trail used to do. When 10 years ago they had a bunch of $5 knives with budget steel, these are a step back. Well, now they're, in today's inflation, they're $6.95, but now we've stepped back to 3CR. So now we're back to a super budget steel. Plus, there's some design flaws I want to point out. So you're trying to save a buck going from $9 down to $7, but it's going to cost you in this case. So just really quick on this one. Interesting color. It looks like a Christmas cookie a little bit. I like it. Shiny red liners there. The only thing, a little design flaw, it's got these ridges here. When you have a flipper tab, you don't want your finger to land on jimping or ridges. It can sometimes be painful. So you give it a little flip and then you land on a ridge and you get a little pain on the end of your finger. There's no reason for that. Just make it smooth like this one. Smooth with no jimping so that when your finger lands, it's a smooth landing, easy flipper action, no pain. And then this one has a worse design flaw. The colors are interesting. That shiny blue along with the shiny maroon, interesting colors, and the flipper action is good, nice, and it's a liner lock. But there's a pretty major design flaw. Only one standoff. Can you see that? Only one standoff. I've never even seen a knife with only one standoff. And is that acceptable? The answer is no. And any of these other knives have at least two standoffs. So even this one here, two standoffs. And if you double from one standoff to two standoffs, that's not just twice as strong, it's actually more than twice as strong. When you have 3 points of stability like a stool with 3 legs, that gives you stability. When you only have the pivot and one standoff, that's only 2 points of stability. That's not good. That means all the pressure you put on this handle is going all to that one. Now I added these 2 black screws. I was using the holes where you can switch the pivot to the clip to the other side. I decided to add 2 screws just to get the scales fastened better. The way it comes is with just that one screw, silver screw. So your whole aluminum scale is only attached by one screw to the liner. That's not acceptable. When that little torque screw pops under any pressure, your entire handle is gonna flop apart. So one standoff is what I'm saying is not good enough construction for EDC. I'm going to relegate this to house drawer duty, light package, opening duty. It should be fine for that. I'm not going to carry this in my pocket. It can't stand up to normal use with only one standoff. Just a bad design there. So just on that one, none of the others seem to, for some reason, just on this one model, if you see the shiny maroon one, check it. I would not recommend that one. And I did add some screws. You already had two pocket clip screws plus the one in the corner plus the pivot. So that was keeping the scale more attached to the liner. So by adding these, it looks okay. At least the scale is attached to the liner, but one pivot, not good. So I wouldn't recommend that one because of construction. I probably wouldn't recommend this one just because you can do better than that. Have a good landing spot for your finger when you do the flipper. You don't want to land on a cheese grater. However, out of these new budget lines with 3C steel, I do like this one. So I passed on quite a few. I saw some other guys doing videos, and they even made some funny comments like, I didn't intend to collect 30 Ozark Grails this year, but somehow it just happened because they got all of them. Well, I think I've got enough. These are all from, except for the original. The rest of these are from this year, so I've got quite a supply, enough of Ozark Trails this year. But this one's really nice. This is in the lower budget category, but it's a back lock. So this is sturdy. You've got a full back spring and a sturdy back lock. It's not fidgety. It's kind of old school. And it's got this faux stag and brass bolster. And then you got your 3C budget steel. But for $6.95, I like the look. And I happen to have something that kind of matches it. I've got this old Ozark, or this is Mossy Oak, which is a separate company, but it kind of makes Ozark Trail style equipment, and these kind of match. This is 10 years old, so maybe it's a little bit more tarnished, but it kind of matches the style. I've carried this on a lot of dog walks. I like to throw a fixed blade on my belt pretty often, so I've carried this over the last 10 years dozens of times. I might actually carry fixed blades more often than a lot of people just because, like almost daily on dog walks, I'll throw a fixed blade. I kind of rotate, but this one's been carried a lot. And I like it even though it's cheap. I'll actually show you. Got two snaps here. Mossy Oak is headquartered in Mississippi. So you just gotta, now this is budget. I think I got it at Walmart. Mossy Oak brand, and it was probably like $10 for like one of those Christmas packs, I think is where I got this about 10 years ago. And then it kind of matches with a silver blade and the brass bolsters, and the faux matches a little bit. Anyway, I recommend this one just because, or maybe it's just my personal taste, I like this one. And a back lock is a good sturdy lock, and for the budget price, I think that's a pretty good pickup. I did want to mention one more thing while I'm talking about the Ozark topic. I did notice something else, and unfortunately I had another one of these. I was intending it to be a stocking stuffer, but now I'm stuck with something I don't even want to give away in a stocking stuffer. So I got something else for stocking stuffer, and I guess I'm going to have two new package openers light duty here in the house. But anyway, wanted you to see made. You see that? Made in Vietnam. So we're not going to jump really into politics here, but just talking quick about tariffs. I watched a interview with the CEO of Walmart. It was over a month ago, and he said they're good, and that was still in the midst of negotiations, but we actually have a deal with China now. The farm soybean crops are flowing again to China, and we have a fair deal. We've kind of made fair deals all around the world, and the tariffs are going to do more good than trouble, and actually, in my opinion, quite a lot more good for America than any trouble there's been. But the CEO of Walmart said they're good, and as you can see, they had options. Now that there's a deal with China, maybe they'll switch back to China, but they went here in Vietnam, and they still made a few good budget lines made in Vietnam. But I wouldn't blame this on Vietnam. This was Ozark Trail design just because it's made in Vietnam. That was a design flaw, not a manufacturing flaw. But the overall quality, you can't tell any difference between the old Ozark Trails. I got a couple here. This one's from years ago. So this one was probably made in China, and now we got a Vietnam one. And then I've got another one from years ago. This one's been on package duty for a while. Here's an old... See, you can sometimes get a nice looking handle, even 10 years ago. These were like $5 10 years ago. So now we're up to $6.95. Here's a good one. Backlock. I'm starting to ramble. I think I hit all my points. You have your Ozark Grail line. These have names. You got your Sonder. This is a Sonder that we were calling the Ozark Grail, but now it's called the Sonder. Can you see that? Sonder. This is the black one is also a Sonder. It's just a different color. And then we've got the Nimbus. And we've got the Valor. This one's the Valor. This one has the higher 14C28N steel. That's a really good deal for $19. And then the Elevation is the button lock. So out of all these, which one's the best though? I'm kind of partial to a good working flipper, and I like liner locks. This is so sturdy with a nice robust aluminum handle, D2 steel, $9, same as that one. I think overall, just in my opinion, edges out even the Grail. I kind of think this is the best value overall, $9 with the upgraded materials. And then you double the price to $19, but you do get still an upgrade with the 14C. That's also good. I have a standalone tabletop review of this one. You can go check it out. I don't have any individual reviews of any of the others other than I was comparing the Valor and a lot of similarities and differences to the original Grail, but that was a good video. You can go find it in my list and check it out. But I think I covered everything. Pass on that one. Probably pass on that one. This one was my favorite of the ones that just came out for Christmas of the super budget line, 3CR steel, but everything else is pretty good, and all of these are good. Best value right there. Okay, well, thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope I pointed out something useful to you. And remember, always carry a knife.